Think about two 35-year-olds working in the same corporate building. Person A says yes to every project, takes the VP promotion, makes $140,000, and eats dinner standing over the sink at 8 p.m., totally exhausted. Person B rejects the promotion, stays at $90,000, leaves at 5 p.m., and somehow ends up with over $1 million more in net worth a decade later. How is that mathematically possible? Let's do some math that your HR department desperately hopes you never do. We need to start by destroying the biggest myth in the working world, the illusion of the raise. You get called into the manager's office. They shake your hand, and they tell you that you are being promoted from $80,000 to $110,000. A $30,000 raise. It sounds massive, right? It feels validating. It's the exact number you tell your parents to prove you finally made it. But let's look at what actually hits your checking account when the real world gets involved. At $80,000, your federal income tax and FICA take a huge bite, leaving you with roughly $65,000. Now, you get bumped to $110,000. Your tax burden skyrockets. Out of that $30,000 raise, the federal government immediately takes almost $9,000. And if you live in a high-tax state like California or New York, they are going to take another massive slice. Suddenly, your combined marginal tax rate is over 41%. That $30,000 raise you were celebrating, it just shrank to maybe $17,500 in actual take-home pay. But do you think it's over once taxes are paid? The real trap that keeps 80% of high earners living paycheck to paycheck, or even in debt, has only just begun. The real wealth killer has a name. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it is absolutely ruthless. It's not because you are irresponsible, it's because it's biologically automatic. The average person spends up to 85 cents of every new dollar they earn. Your brain sees a higher income and interprets it as permission. Permission to get that slightly nicer apartment. Permission to lease a car that matches your new director title. The expensive dinners that used to be a rare celebration suddenly become just a regular Tuesday night. Think about this. Research shows that 40% of Americans earning over $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. And even more insane, Goldman Sachs found that 40% of households earning over $500,000 a year still consider themselves paycheck to paycheck. $500,000. Read that number in your head and ask yourself, is income really the problem here? A raise without a strict investment plan is just buying a bigger bucket with the exact same hole at the bottom. So let's go back to your promotion. Let's say lifestyle inflation eats 60% of your after-tax raise. Your $17,000 just became $7,000. Now, add the hidden costs of your new title. You have to return to office more often. That means thousands of dollars a year in commuting, buying lunches with other managers, upgrading your work wardrobe, and dry cleaning. Add in the fact that high-stress roles increase your healthcare and therapy costs by 50%. By the end of the year, your massive $30,000 promotion is netting you maybe $2,000 to $5,000 in genuine, investable cash. You gave them your absolute best years, your energy, and your peace of mind. And in return, they gave you a new email signature and enough extra money to buy a slightly better coffee. If you think this meager profit is barely acceptable, the numbers I'm about to show you will definitely make you so angry, you'll want to smash your keyboard. Let's talk about a concept called your effective hourly rate. This is the ultimate truth teller in your financial life. Imagine you take that VP role paying $130,000. Sounds amazing. Now look at the individual contributor, the IC, who said no to that promotion and stayed at $90,000. Here is where the math gets incredibly uncomfortable. Research shows that 58% of senior managers work more than 51 hours a week. CEOs and high-level executives average over 62 hours, including weekends and vacations. Vacations for these people aren't actual rest. It's just answering emails while wearing a nicer shirt on a beach. Let's be conservative. The VP works 55 hours a week. At $130,000 a year, that breaks down to $45.45 per hour. The IC, making $90,000 but working a strict 40-hour week, earns $43.27 per hour. The gap between the stressed out VP and the relaxed IC is $2.18 an hour. $2. That is your grand reward. But it gets worse. Under the Fair Labor Standards Act, once you become a salaried exempt employee, which is basically every manager, you lose the right to overtime pay zero. So that VP working 55 hours a week is giving the company 780 hours of unpaid labor every single year. That is almost 20 full work weeks given away for completely free. You thought the company gave you a raise. No, they bought a massive portion of your remaining life at a steep discount. Becoming a salaried manager is like walking into an all-you-can-eat buffet, only to realize that you are the food on the table. The optics look incredibly successful, but the math is completely grim. You are just getting more tired for free to benefit shareholders who will lay you off the second a spreadsheet tells them to. You might think, even if the company is getting my time for free, at least I've gained that so-called professional prestige. But have you ever calculated how much those 20 hours you give away for free every week would actually be worth if you kept them for yourself? This is the exact calculation nobody does before signing that promotion offer. What is the opportunity cost of those 15 to 20 extra hours a week? I am not talking about building the next billion-dollar tech startup or gambling on crypto. I am talking about incredibly boring, highly sustainable side income, freelancing, consulting in your specific niche, a simple e-commerce business. The average American who actually puts real effort into a side hustle makes around $1,000 to $1,200 a month. Let's say you use those 20 extra hours a week to build something modest that generates $2,000 a month. Instead of upgrading your car, you take that entire $2,000 and dump it right into the S&P 500, which has historically returned around 10% annually. Do you know what happens next? After 10 years, you have over $400,000. After 20 years, you have $1.375 million. $1.3 million, that is the true opportunity cost of saying yes to the promotion. That is the wealth you sacrifice so you could spend 20 hours a week building PowerPoint decks that no one reads, sitting in alignment meetings that could have been an email. The individual contributor who kept her 40-hour week and built her side income isn't earning less than the VP. She is building massively more wealth. She just doesn't print it on a business card. Let's look at how this plays out in reality. Think about Blake. Blake is 38. He took every single promotion they threw at him. He is a director making $145,000. On paper, Blake won the game. But It's Tuesday at 7 p.m. Blake is still at the office. There is a reorg happening. His boss needs an urgent report, and he has 50 unread Slack messages. He will get home at 8:30 p.m. after his kids are asleep. He will eat cold leftovers standing over the kitchen sink, check his email one last time in bed, and set his alarm for 6 a.m. Blake is trapped. His massive mortgage demands he keep this job. His too expensive car payments demand he keep this job. His 401k only has $87,000 in it because he spent his 20s and 30s funding his lifestyle instead of his investments. He desperately needs $1.5 million to retire, but he has nothing left at the end of the month. His life has quietly assembled itself into an expensive prison around his salary. Now, look at Jordan. On that exact same Tuesday, she said no to the last 2 promotions. When she declined, her manager looked at her like she was crazy. Her parents were worried she was losing her ambition. Jordan is also 38, making $98,000, fully remote. At 6:15 p.m., she is making fresh pasta in her kitchen, completely relaxed. Because she kept her boundaries, she has maxed out her 401k for 7 straight years, while Blake was busy buying status symbols. She has over $200,000 invested. 2 years ago, she used her extra time to start a small consulting hustle, charging clients for the exact same brainpower she refuses to give her boss for free. That hustle makes $2,400 a month, all of which goes into the market. She reads books for fun. She travels. She literally cannot find a reason to be stressed. Blake makes $47,000 more per year than Jordan, but he has over $100,000 less in actual investable wealth. He works 18 more hours a week for absolutely zero extra pay. And thanks to the brutal math of compound interest, Jordan will continue to pull ahead every single day. The market rewards the person who starts investing early and keeps their costs low. It does not give a damn about your job title. Hearing this, you must be wondering, if a promotion is such an obviously bad deal, why do thousands of highly intelligent people still flock to the position of director like moths to a flame? Because corporate America has spent decades perfecting a psychological trap. In labor economics, there is a concept called tournament theory. Think of your company like a reality TV competition. The corner office, the VP title, the massive bonuses. These are the grand prizes. But they don't exist to reward everyone. They exist as a shiny carrot to extract maximum, unpaid effort from the 95% of people who will never actually reach them. You are funding the prize pool with your evenings, your weekends, and your mental health, and the house always wins. Only about 4 to 6% of employees actually get promoted in any given year, and the game is getting significantly dirtier. Right now, 30-7% of employers are handing out what the industry calls dry promotions. A dry promotion is when they give you a senior title, more responsibility, more stress, but absolutely zero increase in pay. They literally say, "Congratulations on your promotion to senior director. We will discuss the money next year." And here is the most terrifying part. Surveys show that over 60% of employees would actually prefer a new title without a raise over a raise without a new title. People are choosing ego over equity. Companies know this. They have realized they can pay you in completely fake status symbols, and you will literally thank them for it. This leads to the most dangerous consequence of all. When you spend your entire life chasing titles, you stop being a human being who has a job, and you become a job that happens to have a human being attached to it. You build your entire identity around being the VP, and then a recession hits. Psychologists at the University of Michigan found that losing a high-status job feels closer to losing a loved one than losing a paycheck. Because you didn't just lose money, you lost the answer to the question, who am I? When layoffs happen, and middle managers are currently the biggest target for corporate cuts, the results are devastating. When Jordan, the IC, gets laid off, she has a massive emergency fund, a thriving side hustle, low living costs, and ultimate flexibility. She sleeps fine. When Blake, the VP, gets laid off, he has a mortgage he can't pay, a resume full of vague management buzzwords, no hard skills, and total panic. He built a life that requires $145,000 just to breathe. Over 60% of Americans say they would quit their jobs tomorrow if they didn't need the money. That isn't a career. That is a hostage situation with decent dental insurance. Since the traditional career ladder is a dead end, how can ordinary people break out of this rut? Don't worry, I'm about to share a high-probability wealth-building guide that anyone can put into practice immediately after hearing it. We are going to flip the script. If you want to actually win the wealth game, you need to abandon the corporate ladder and start using a street-smart framework. Here are the exact steps to take your life back. Step 1. Calculate your true hourly rate immediately. Take your after-tax salary and divide it by the actual hours you give to the company, including your commute and the hours you spend worrying about work on Sunday nights. If a promotion drops your hourly rate or forces you to work more than 45 hours a week, you treat it like a bad investment and you decline it. Protect your time like it is a $1 million asset, because mathematically, it is. Step 2. Master the lateral move. You don't need to climb up. You need to move sideways. Studies published in Management Science prove that workers who make lateral moves across different departments experience much higher lifetime wage growth than those who climb vertically in one spot. You build a rare stack of skills, you avoid middle management burnout, and you drastically increase your market value without taking on unpaid overtime. Sideways is the new up. Step 3. The Say No Auto-Invest Strategy. The next time you decline a promotion or a new stressful project, you are going to take the time you saved and monetize it. Start a freelance profile, consult, whatever it is. The moment that side income hits your bank account, you must set up an auto-invest rule. Funnel that money directly into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund before you ever see it. Do not upgrade your car. Do not buy a bigger house. Let the compounding machine do the heavy lifting while you sleep. Step 4. Build the ultimate FU fund. Here is a mind-blowing piece of behavioral finance data from Vanguard. They studied thousands of investors and found that having just a $2,000 cash emergency fund improved a person's psychological well-being by 21%. Making over $500,000 a year only improved it by 12%. Read that again. $2,000 in cash makes you happier and more secure than earning $500,000. Security beats income every single time. But knowing these methods isn't enough. What's really holding you back from taking action is the deepest, most insurmountable fear within you. When you first start saying no to the corporate game, it is going to feel terrifying. Your brain has been programmed since kindergarten to seek gold stars, to chase grades, to climb the ranks. When you decline a promotion, your coworkers will whisper, your boss will question your drive. For about a month, you will feel a low-grade panic that you are falling behind. But then, the noise fades, and something beautiful takes its place. You will notice that Sunday evenings no longer give you chest pain. You will watch the money in your brokerage account quietly surpass the salaries of the executives who boss you around. You will realize that the people running on the treadmill next to you are aging faster, stressing harder, and getting absolutely nowhere. You are not your job title. You are not your email signature. You are a human being who deserves the freedom of choice. The people who blindly say yes to everything will spend the next decade running toward a finish line that the company constantly moves further away. But you are going to spend the next decade building something they can never take away from you. No corporate restructuring can touch your index funds. No bad manager can lay off your side hustle. No HR department can define your worth. The ultimate flex in the modern world isn't a C-suite title. It is clocking out at 5 p.m., having a massive pile of investments doing the hard work for you, and actually enjoying the life you are paying for. Let the company keep their fake status symbols. You take the real math, you take your time, you take your freedom. If this breakdown changed the way you look at your career, hit that subscribe button right now. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever turned down a promotion or realized a new title was a trap? Tell me your story down below. I read every single one.